In one of the more surprising moments of UFC 319 Fight Week, Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis bumped into each other earlier today. Given the recent war of words between the two, from tense press conference exchanges to subtle jabs and interviews, fans were expecting fireworks if they crossed paths. Instead, the encounter was unexpectedly calm and professional. The two shook hands, exchanged a few brief words, and wished each other well heading into Saturday night. Have a good weekend. You too, it's going to be a good one. Let's do it. The mutual respect shown here might surprise some, but it's a reminder that while the pre-fight buildup can get heated, both men understand the magnitude of this championship clash. Still, make no mistake, once the octagon door closes, there will be nothing respectful about the pace, power, and pressure these two bring. With both fighters unbeaten in the UFC and brimming with confidence, their main event showdown is shaping up to be one of the most intense title fights of the year. A seismic shift is coming to the MMA world. On Monday, the UFC officially announced a record-breaking $7.7 billion media rights deal with CBS and Paramount, an agreement that will completely change how fans watch fights for the next 7 years. Under the new deal, every UFC fight night, title bout, and major super fight will be available on network television and streaming through Paramount+. That means the end of the traditional monthly pay-per-view model as we know it. A move that's set to make the sport more accessible to millions of casual viewers. Speaking at the press conference, UFC CEO Dana White revealed that the promotion will now host 4 massive tentpole events each year on CBS, not just behind a streaming subscription. These will be blockbuster cards designed to pull in the largest possible audience. White also dropped a bombshell teaser. The UFC is in early talks to hold a fight on the White House lawn next July 4th to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States. Imagine a massive fight on the lawn of the White House, live on CBS, White said. It would be one of the biggest events in combat sports history. The move to CBS marks a full circle moment for the UFC, which has gone from Spike TV to Fox to ESPN and now to one of the largest network television platforms in the world. Interestingly, while the PPV model is being shelved, White told the New York Post that he's not ready to close the door completely. I love that in this business, anything can happen. A fight could pop up out of nowhere, a star could emerge, and you could always do a one-off pay-per-view. Pay-per-view is not dead. I'm on pay-per-view this Saturday. After months of relative silence, Sugar Sean O'Malley has finally given fans an update on when we might see him back inside the octagon. The former bantamweight champion has been lying low since his tough loss to Merab Dvalishvili earlier this year, a fight that saw his high-volume striking shut down by Merab's relentless wrestling and pace. In a recent video uploaded to his YouTube channel, O'Malley shared his thoughts on the rest of 2025. While he stopped short of making any promises, he hinted at a possible return in November or December. I don't know when, I don't know where, and I don't know who, but if I had to guess, it would be late this year, O'Malley said. Ideally, I fight one more time in 2025, but it's possible I don't fight again this year. It's even possible I never fight again. You just never know. What if I snap my toe off or something? The big question now is, who's next for Sugar Sean? A rematch with Petr Yan is always on the table, especially after their razor-close first meeting. A dangerous option would be unbeaten Umar Nurmagomedov, who many believe is the dark horse of the division. Or, O'Malley could opt for a lower-ranked but high-profile fight against someone like Song Yadong to get back in the win column before another title run. Regardless of the opponent, the fan demand for O'Malley's return is undeniable. His fights draw big numbers, and the UFC knows the bantamweight division is always more exciting when Sugar is active. With Jon Jones officially retired, or so we thought. It didn't take long for Bones to stir the pot again. Recently, Jones hinted at a possible return in 2026 for the UFC's planned White House card, a historic event that's already generating buzz. Current interim heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall addressed the rumors during an appearance on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani. Surprisingly, Aspinall admitted he hasn't given the idea of fighting Jones much thought. I love Vegas, Aspinall said, but it's far from the UK. You've got to leave home 2 weeks weeks before. Plus, you've got American taxes. Abu Dhabi just makes more sense. Shorter travel, only a 3-hour time difference, and way better for European fans. That's why Aspinall chose to defend his belt against Cyril Gane in Abu Dhabi instead of Las Vegas. But he revealed that other potential opponents were in the mix, including Alexander Volkov and Jailton Almeida. Depending on how results play out, Aspinall could even return for the UFC's year-end pay-per-view in December. And about his next opponent, Aspinall played coy. It's top secret, the people will know sooner or later. If he defeats Ganey, there's a real chance he faces the winner of Volkov versus Almeida before year's end. But if Jones does indeed make a comeback, the UFC might have to revisit the biggest heavyweight fight in years. Fight week is here, and Michael Venom Page has made his pick for the UFC 319 main event. Speaking to Fred Talks Fighting, MVP broke down the clash between middleweight champion Dricus Du Plessis and surging contender Khamzat Chimaev. While Page admitted Du Plessis deserves respect for finding ways to win, he described DDP's style as messy and hard to predict. I've never really rated him stylistically, but he's a winner. You have to respect that. But I've seen Khamzat train in person. The guy is special. I'd put my money on it. Chimaev has taken no shortcuts in preparation for UFC 319. His camp has reportedly brought in a specialist cardio coach to fine-tune his explosive endurance and address the one area fans have questioned in the past, his gas tank. Despite being the reigning champion, Du Plessis enters as a comfortable betting underdog. That doesn't bother him in the slightest. Odds don't make fights, fighters do. People say I became everything Khamzat was supposed to be, but that's because I'm built different. Both fighters are undefeated in the UFC. Du Plessis at 9-0, Chimaev at 8-0. But the South African champion insists their resumes are very different. The winner will not only leave with the belt, but could cement themselves as one of the most dominant forces in modern MMA. Next month's UFC Paris event has taken a hit. Rising British prospect Kennedy Freeman has been forced to withdraw from her scheduled debut after suffering a serious injury during training camp. In an Instagram post, Freeman explained that it wasn't just her pulling out. Her opponent, Dubin, is also injured, meaning the fight is officially off. Unfortunately, my UFC debut in Paris will not be going ahead. Myself and my opponent have both had to withdraw due to injury, Freeman wrote. Freeman revealed that her training camp had been plagued with setbacks, with her rotator cuff injury ultimately making it impossible to spar, hit pads, or lift weights. She also admitted the toll of back-to-back fight camps in Cage Warriors last year left her body worn down and in need of recovery. On the other side of the Atlantic, the UFC has confirmed a major welterweight clash for UFC Rio on October 11th. Fan favorite Vicente Luque will take on Argentine striker Santiago Ponzinibbio in what promises to be a high-paced, all-action battle. Luque will be looking to rebound from his recent loss to Kevin Holland, a fight that snapped his momentum in the division. Meanwhile, Ponzinibbio is also coming off a setback, having been stopped by Daniel Rodriguez. With both fighters in need of a statement win, expect fireworks from the opening bell. UFC Rio is already shaping up to be stacked, with Charles Oliveira versus Rafael Fiziev headlining in a lightweight 5-rounder. The addition of Luque versus Ponzinibbio only strengthens a card that's built for action in front of the passionate Brazilian crowd.